I know many of you guys have heard of the Willie Lynch letter and the Willie Lynch syndrome. Whether you believe that it's a hoax or not, the fact of the matter that it's actually going on right now. It went on then and it's going on right now. Who even needs the letter to talk about the tactics that were used against black people and how those very things that have been used against black people even live till this day? I'm going to read this. Some of you guys have already read it, but I'm going to read this because seriously, this is going on even now within our communities. And it's ridiculous. It's something that has been set in motion from that time. And whether it was written down in that time or not, it's still something that happened. You could look at it as something that was written back then or something that documented what happened against us that still exists till this day. So here we go. Gentlemen, you know that your problems are, I do not need to elaborate. I am not here to enumerate your problems. I'm here to, here to induce you, introduce you to a method of solving them. In my bag here, I have foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, you will control the slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy. Sounds familiar, don't you guys see this? For control purposes. These methods have worked on the modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple list of differences and think about them. Here we go. On the top of my list is age. Here we go with that disrespect of younger and older. But this is there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. Yes, you guys can see this a lot. I don't care if it's darker skin blacks or light skin blacks or biracial blacks. Yes, I said it. There's intelligence, size, sex, size of plantation, status on plantation. Oh, we see this a lot. Attitudes of owners, whether the slave live in the valley, hill, east, west, north, and south, have fine hair, coarse hair, tall, short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action, but before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy is stronger than adulation, respect, and admiration. The black slave, after receiving this introduction, shall carry on and will become a self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male. The young black male against the old black male. You must use dark-skinned slaves versus light-skinned slaves, and light-skinned slaves versus dark-skinned slaves. You must use the female versus the male. Oh, don't we see this a lot? And male versus female. You know we see this a lot on these YouTube streets. Silly. You must have your white servants and overseers distrust all blacks. But it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love and respect and trust only us. Oh, Lord have mercy. We've seen this in the last few days, haven't we? We found, sorry about that. They're just basically saying that the Willie Lynch letter never existed. But I'll tell you guys this. Whether this letter is a hoax or not, we see the actions of this letter. We see the actions before it was even written, if it was ever written during that time. We have already seen the actions, and you didn't even really have to write the letter. They did this. And I'll tell you this, the sad part is a lot of it is existing right now. Even on YouTube, you just saw how we were divided. Just because somebody's dumb, stupid video. And you see further divide between black men and black women on here too. You see the light skin versus the dark skin. And I'm going to include biracials in that too. You guys might get pissed off at me for it, but I'm going to say that because they're mixed black people. That's a division as well. You see all this division, yet everyone's being, what people call on code with each other. But we have to be so divided. I'm wondering if should I call this the Willie Lynch legacy or Willie Lynch prophecy fulfilled? I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Because it's going on right now. Even in this so-called postmodern age, this is still the same spirit that we're dealing with. I mean, it's yeah, we're still dealing with the same divisions now. I'll call this the Willie Lynch legacy. I don't care whether it was written in 1971 or 1716 or whatever. Whether it's a hoax or not, this is what's going on. And it's been going on since we've been here. And divide and conquer is just what these things are. And whether you're going to play into it or not is your decision, though. Whenever I see black men bashing black women, which, to be honest, I don't think is all black men. I don't think that at all. That's playing into Willie Lynch syndrome. When I've seen, I don't see it a lot, but whenever I've seen comments bashing black men, this is playing into this dumbass syndrome. Whenever I've seen dark-skinned women getting bashed by light-skinned, women or people, it's playing into this syndrome. And even when I see dark-skinned black men bashing dark-skinned black women, it's the same thing. Whenever I've seen even dark-skinned, even though I understand that's a response because of all the crap that dark-skinned women get. But saying stuff against light-skinned black women or whatever, that's the same Willie Lynch syndrome. I'm not putting that on an equal footing either, because I know that there's levels and pyramid schemes to all this stuff. But any kind of division, yes, young and old. I've people talk about, that's an old NIGGA. Instead of listening to the wisdom of that older person, that elder. That's division. Or when the elder looks down on the young person and says they ain't good for nothing, that's division. We got to not be like that. I mean, seriously speaking, we're playing into this Willie Lynch legacy. That's what it is. Anyway, I'd like to know what you guys think about this. Like, comment, subscribe. You dislike, that's fine too. but it won't change the message of what I'm talking about. Peace. Peep game though, y'all. This is what's going on. Don't let yourselves be divided by this kind of neurosis.